Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It's so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? What's the haps? We got a happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. This birthday lasts on this show.
It's
but
hard.
your birthday lasts forever.
Yes, because you get
week
the pre,
before, the birthday, the week after.
Well, I was thinking about your birthday.
Really?
I actually
got a great
was.
voice note from you on my birthday. I loved it.
I only send voice notes on birthdays to my closest friends and family.
And anyone who pays for it on Cameo.
And anyone who... It's very much... Well, I've been doing this for years, sending my voice note
no, it's really
version
cute.
of my birthday, wishes.
I get voice notes on my birthday from you, and then my siblings always make their kids do like a...
That's fun.
They have them always do like a performance.
Happy birthday on JoJo! Yeah.
Literally.
1, 2,
Two,
3.
three.
Yeah, you hear the whole group.
Yes.
I love that. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like everyone has their own little mini band on someone on an auntie's birthday.
Right, when they're all kind of competing too. Like I would assume the siblings, their kids, like, hey,
come on, guys.
Dr. Naomi's kids are bringing it this year.
I hope
you better
so,
fucking get it together.
All ages, I get it, yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's all the nieces and nephews, and then you.
Well, I hope I did better than them.
You did. You had more, tone.
Well,
Whatever.
I
don't know what
really
the
brought
singing
it.
tone words
I
are.
sang in the streets of Chicago. I was in Chicago thinking of your birthday, not just to wish you a happy birthday, but, the famous, to the audience here, if you know, my birthday is considered the worst day of the year.
Indeed.
Your birthday might be the best day of the year.
It might be, as an adult especially.
Absolutely. September 9th.
7th.
It's in my calendar, so I don't have to remember. Okay. September 7th.
That was great.
It's the... Whatever. It's the first week of, football and back from, no vacations. I guess it's the best day of the year for...
An adult.
Yes. Pre-kid, post-college?
I would say yes, because the issue, I don't know if I've talked about it on the show before, but the issue with the birthday when you're a kid growing up is that it's usually kind of the first day of school.
Right. It's like,
so
shut the fuck up.
You don't know anyone yet.
Yeah,
so it's like, oh, I'm going to bring in munchkins and they're for this these kids, I don't even know who the fuck they are.
Right, and these kids are probably eating the munchkins being like, wow, they're giving us donuts on opening day. They don't even think it's from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's always a little awkward when you're growing up. But great birthday as an adult. Another great reason September 7th specifically is a great birthday is that it can never fall on a working Monday. If it's on Monday, it must be Labor Day.
Oh, so you really get all that. I've never even thought of it that. Who would?
Great for that.
Well, also, here's the other thing. You get deals. You can still do summer stuff, but at fall costs. If you guys went to a resort on, if you went to the Hamptons.
Right. It would be off season.
Mm-hmm. But in season.
Unless it was Labor Day.
Right. It's still warm. Thank God for global warming.
Yeah, love it.
You cash in now. Yeah, this is great for you.
Bad for the globe, but good for me.
That's all that matters. Yeah. I think that's the motto of
the show.
Betches of the show. The earth should suffer, at least I win.
Exactly.
Now, so happy birthday. Yeah, I was like football, and there's a little bit of bite in the air. You can wear... You're not sweating your ass off. I was thinking, I was like, wow, you do have the best day of the year.
Yeah. I mean, this month is sort of the best month of the year weather-wise.
Absolutely.
Still really warm, but nice little break in the mornings.
Well, everything is packed in cities because no one's used to, everyone's used to this exodus over the summer.
Back.
Now everyone's in, the bars are hopping. This is the time to meet people. This is cash-in season.
Yes. How was Chicago?
Chicago was
great.
great.
Also nice in September there?
Are you
a little cold?
It was colder, but I mean, Chicago has 2 good weather weeks a year.
Mm-hmm. This is one of them?
This is one of them. It was great. I went to the game. I went to the opening game. Bears win, bear down.
Nice.
So we're very happy here at the
It's
U
always
Up
better
podcast.
to be at a game where they win, right?
Oh my God, they came back. It was a big deal. My brother was in a good mood. The hang after with my brother is dependent on the Bears winning or losing.
Well, it's it's kind of like you after a show, but
right?
At least this is less subjective.
It's less subjective. It's also less sure thing. Like, I'm not going to, not to brag, but my shows go generally well.
Usually not bombing
right.
these days.
Especially if it's like a big show that I would go out with people after. Maybe a cellar spot where I did 15 minutes and it was just like a random Tuesday might not go great. But like, for me, like a Saturday night show is going to go okay generally. Like, but for him, it's,
so you guys had fun.
Oh my God. We went out after, got a good dinner, his wife, we were all there, hung out, cheers to the Bears. We win 1-0, optimism. And here's the thing about a town.
Did you go out to visit him or did you go out for this game? And
I went to see him and go to the game. I've gone to the opening day for Bears last 3 seasons.
Did you have any shows there? Or this was you?
I popped in.
Okay. You can't.
I can't resist. I can't. Yeah. If there's a hot mic, I'm going to talk on it. Okay. I went and opened for Rosebud Baker, who's so funny.
Oh, nice.
Everyone should go follow Rosebud. She's been on the
show. Yeah.
She was fantastic, and let me do some time on her shows, which is very, very giving and nice of her to do. And Zanies is just such a fun time. It's like this little box of a club, and it's everyone there knows it. But what I love about Chicago, and something we miss out on here in New York, Manhattan, Brooklyn, this sense of the teams being part of the vibe of the town. Okay. This is a transplant town. When people say to me, "Oh, you're a Red Sox fan in New York," I'm like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Everyone here is their own Red Sox. Everyone here is trying to do shit. Everyone here is trying to hustle. There's nobody that's
there's no community.
There's no community here.
Yeah.
Every now and again it sprouts up and you feel kind of good. Right. But it takes something really monumental to make that happen.
There's no one thing that really unites.
That's why during COVID, the pots and pans became look at New York pots. It's a very rare instance.
Yes.
And it takes something kind of
tragic.
Tragic.
Yes.
I mean, we're around the season 9/11.
Yes.
People look to New York.
Literally thinking that. Yeah.
Right. That's the one where we were both thinking the same thing, not wanting to say it. But it takes something truly
someone has to really fuck with us in order
for New York to
come together.
Come together, yeah. Brooklyn, Manhattan.
Otherwise, it's
Island.
every man for himself.
Yeah, that's right. So, but when you go to Chicago, which is, people compare to New York, it's a major city, one of the biggest cities in the country. It's still tied together by how'd the team do and whether they're going to be good or bad. And even the night before I went to the game, people were like, "Do you think they're going to be good this season?" There was a lot of angst towards the Bears season because they got this first round draft pick. So they got a lot of there's a lot of hope, And so I think for dating conversation purposes, this is something kind of we miss, as far as a podcast is concerned. LA, New York, no one gives a fuck. But if you're in one of these towns, Cleveland, Pittsburgh,
Chicago,
even Arizona, Miami not as much, but Tennessee, you're in Nashville, you're in these towns where Charlotte, the Panthers, these football, even with college football, if this is in the air, that's Texas. Community. That's getting to Texas, Austin, Houston, Dallas. That is the community of the thread. That's the thing that brings you back to college, where it was easy to meet people because you could go, "Hey, you're a business major? Do you have this guy for economics?" I'm not telling everyone to be this football fanatic. I'm just saying.
Great way to meet people.
It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way.
Built-in social event.
Built-in social, built-in community, built-in what are we talking about here? And I think this time of year, especially this month, where it's optimism is at a high. No team is bad, college or pro. We still have hope.
Yeah,
I think that transfers over to dating. People, I'm seeing.
I get jealous of that. Yeah, I'm I wish I cared more about sports to have some sort of feeling of.
You don't even have to care.
I don't know.
I think just being there is so, and people.
You're in the You're caught up in the spirit of the of the excitement.
High fiving some rando.
Yeah.
What's better than that?
Totally.
I just
kind of what the Olympics brings out of you. When
the
it
Olympics
comes to feeling a community for your country.
Right. I kind of wish the Olympics happened at a less summer time. Well, they have the Winter Olympics.
Right. If only there were an event that happened in the winter for the Olympics.
I don't know. It's like the World Cup does that more for people. I feel like, 'cause it's like one thing and everyone knows when the game is. But no, I think this is like a time to like be out there and meeting people and trying to like if any is a time to go out. It's right now.
Yes. No, it's the best time for sure. And you can you don't have to wear a bikini. Right. You can go out and
season,
be in a comfy but cute fall. I feel like people love fall outfits more than any other season.
Oh, that's when I look my best. That's absolutely.
You're just covered enough, but you're not under 17 layers of jackets.
Absolutely. You can wear what you wore. Mm-hmm. You don't have to find a place for your jacket.
Exactly.
The outfit that you saw in the mirror is the outfit that goes the whole night.
Yes.
There's no stripping. There's no, you can go.
But you don't have the body self-consciousness that comes with the summer.
Yeah. I think this is also a time where it's not that weird to reconnect with college people. Mm-hmm. That friend group that maybe is outside. Oh, where are the Penn State people this weekend? I text those group chats now. Haven't heard from them in months.
That's the thing with Mike is in so many group chats and he doesn't speak to anyone all year.
And this is
I'm who are you talking to? Right. He's like one of my 15 fantasy leagues.
Right.
It's just very funny because usually there's not excessive amount of chatter.
We're here spitballing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help the single people that are trying to get out of their own way. And I am one of you. One of us. One of us. We're all losers. So if I'm to put my loser hat on and brainstorm, you just said something so important.
Let's hear it.
Here's the thing that people get really bogged down by. I have all these married friends and their husbands don't know any single guys. Mm-hmm. That's always that's the feedback.
Yes.
From negative Nancy.
I mean, I feel that sometimes myself. I'm I would love to set you up, but I just don't know that many single men.
I want to but this is the thing. I would go to you and go, when's Mike gonna watch with his fantasy football group?
I'm coming.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Invite yourself to that.
No, that's great. I love that.
I think anyone out there, if you have a married friends, when are you watching football with your husband? When's he going out with his friends? Let's go with his friends.
Yeah.
Don't ask
I love that.
Who's single. Shut the fuck up.
Just come over.
Just go.
And also, if it's not at their table, it could be the table next to you.
Right. Fun. I am saying right now, people are where are the men? Where are the men? And then sometimes I go, I'll be out. And
Where are you?
Where am I?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what I do. Slunked over a martini. You know where to find me.
2 a.m. ordering a grain bowl.
That's me.
Yes, if you know,
Grain bowl Jared.
And I wanna issue a little bit of a an edit. What do you call it?
Oh, we have this is at the end of the New York Times. We want to make a correction.
I want to make a correction to last week's episode. I got the episode is.
This was a great.
The episode we're recording this on a Tuesday, so it's only even out for the subscribers.
Right.
But I'm already getting some positive feedback generally about the episode. But I did get one correction that I did want to address because I think it's important.
Okay.
And someone wrote.
Do you want to read the whole message?
I'll read the whole message. Hey, Jordana, I loved you guys talking about Chapel on the pod. I'm a huge fan of hers, too. I hope this doesn't come across as critical at all, but rather just as informative. But as I'm listening...
Already, let me just say to this note, already
a good way to do it, yes.
Not critical, just informative. Not you didn't pain me because I think that when you get this feedback,
not coming off aggressive.
Well, this is when you get this feedback, the fear, and I'm sorry to interrupt because I want you to make sure you go through the whole message, but the fear when someone just leaves it at, they have no care for your feelings.
Right, they don't care about shaming, making you feel shamed.
Right, because the meaning of you said this wrong is oh my God, have I hurt everyone?
Right,
and it's just where the human brain goes. It goes out to I'm looking around, what have I been? It's like having something in your teeth.
Right.
It's
all about the way. It's not what you say; it's how you say it.
Right.
For all these things,
everything. So I appreciate right away.
That had me keep reading.
I haven't read this. I haven't heard this yet. So
I hope this doesn't come across as critical at all and rather just as informative, and I'm listening to the new episode of the pod. Subscriber here.
Love it.
Love it. When you guys were talking about Chapel, I noticed that you describe her as a lesbian. As a listener who is lesbian, I just wanted to point out that referring to someone as a lesbian rather than only lesbian is considered pejorative, which means having contempt or disapproval.
Sure.
We've just decided. I'm glad she didn't define it in the thing. That would be super passive aggressive. Right. And as outdated language.
Okay.
So one would say Chapel is lesbian. I just wanted to let you know, as I know this might not be common knowledge outside the community. Looks like blushing smiley face. Thank you for taking this change to language into consideration. And thank you, as always, for all the incredible content always.
Let me just say, it makes sense. It's just something I wouldn't think of.
Right.
Like if someone said Jared straight versus Jared's a straight.
Yes. Or even gay. Like you wouldn't call someone, he's a gay.
Yeah,
or
it would be
a Jew.
A Jew.
He's Jewish.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know that about lesbian having to call it? Okay.
And I do think it's because you don't, I don't know, maybe you just don't hear it on the grand scale of hatred.
Right.
You know, like I
just never thought about it before, but I could totally see why almost making it a noun is like offensive.
Sure. I maybe because I've never heard that version of hate.
Yeah.
Like
as a derogatory.
So-and-so's lesbian, so-and-so's a lesbian. Yeah, I could understand based on the other ones.
Same. And lesson learned.
Listen, we're here to learn.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing for me to know. So anytime I say it from now on, it will be she's lesbian.
Right. Love the message. Love the note. Like, hey, just gonna let you know.
Yes.
Like, I heard it. Not, this isn't gonna put you in jail.
Yeah, and I said thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna be more mindful of saying that correctly going forward.
There we go. So
look at us.
We're huge Chapel
learning
fans.
And growing.
We're huge fans of learning and
growing. Did you listen to the song?
I've been on Chapel, whatever.
Since before she was born?
No.
Oh.
I'm shuffling. Listen, huge fan. HOTTIE is
HOTTIE.
It's very catchy. Yeah. What are they spelling?
Hot to go.
Hot to go.
Yeah.
That song was all over the NFL game that I was at. Yeah, it got played like 100 times. It felt like every time I heard it, I'm going, that's our girl.
Next big thing. I guess she is the big thing, not
huge.
Next big thing. She was just on the cover of Rolling Stone.
Oh, then it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
I'm no longer on the forefront of.
You're out. Listen, I have an announcement.
Let's hear it.
I am going to be taping a special in Tarrytown, New York, and it's a co-production with Betches. I'm so happy to have you guys involved. It is my next special. So if you watch 37 and Single on Netflix, it's out there. You can go watch it if you haven't already. This is the follow-up. This is, I don't know what it's going to be called yet.
Yes. I mean, today is if you're listening on the regular episode, which is September 18th.
Yes.
The pre-sale code is Betches to get your ticket and give them the website.
It's punchup.live/Jared Freed. But if you go to jaredfreed.com, it'll take you to my ticket page and you can go buy tickets. We want this to be a hot show. It's, as far as if you've seen the set and you have someone that's in the Westchester, New York tri-state area, let them know. Let them know because that's how confident I am in kind of the material. Like I know
it's a great show.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I know it's good and I know it's connecting with people like in a way that like is very cool for me.
If you don't like the show, there is something wrong with you.
Yeah, I would have to say that. Yes. I think I've really never had anything get this type of approval before, like really strong, emotional, because it's a 1-hour story about going to the beach with my parents. It's actually a 2-minute story that happened in 2017. And I used to try and tell it on stage, and it would never work. And people would get sad by it. And, the beauty of putting out the Netflix special was not just the being able to have a Netflix special, but like getting to put to bed these jokes that were from different parts of my life.
Right.
Maybe jokes that I wouldn't even write today.
For sure.
There's certain material that's the culmination of 10 years. And as someone, and I will say, like, I didn't get the opportunity to do the half-hour Comedy Central. I didn't get my first year of comedy getting told, do the Tonight Show. It all took a long time for me personally. So,
which is why you're an artiste.
That's right. You keep pushing.
Yes.
But I had all this material that like went into a, loosely not thrown together, but loosely put together set that was 37 and Single. The next day, I'll never forget it. We were December 10th, 2022, taped it. And I remember we went out that night to Off the Wagon or something. Hair of the Dog.
Yes, one of those. Yeah.
One of their bars. And then the next day I flew to Virginia Beach, Virginia to do shows. And I was like, okay, I have zero material. And that's from the time it taped to when it comes out, that's when you got to be like trying to figure out what you're going to talk about. And I suddenly had the freedom to talk about anything. And I was like, let me try this story again. And it's about going to the beach with my parents. And now I had like the confidence. I had there was the burn the boats aspect of, a douchey motivational speech would say, give yourself no chance to do anything else. You got to bomb. And so I was doing this about my parents, and it went from a 5-minute set to a 10-minute set. Then it becomes about my mom and about my dad, and then about being a millennial. Now it's this like giant piece. It's an hour and 15 minutes. I don't think that's what the special will be, but that's where it's at right now. And it's about being a millennial with boomer parents that you're like weirdly tied to. Like I'm on the family plan at 39.
Yes.
Like there's a big part about that on it. So like, which is like, if you're like nodding and like some would think that's embarrassing. Some would think
got siblings who are in their 40s on the family plan.
Well, this is the point. Like it's something that but you don't talk about, and you're not sure if the person next to you would understand or think that your life is easy, or not think. We live in a world where like somehow struggle gives you credibility, and it's a little bit embarrassing, I think, to admit that like
right. Well, we said
I have parts of life that are okay.
Nothing worse than being rich on the internet.
There's nothing worse.
As you say.
As I said many times. So I will say this set is really about, if you're a millennial, if you got boomer parents, you're going to love it.
Bring your parents.
And please.
Great to watch with your, we don't know what the release date yet of the actual show is, but when it comes out, like, can't think of a better comedy show to watch with your parents.
It is so awesome every time the show ends. And some of the boomers don't take it really well in the beginning. I did the show in Boca at Broken Sound. And I did parts of it where, like, I literally was, like, booed by them. Like,
Broken Sound.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like a country club down there. And, the whole crowd is, like, parents. Mm-hmm. And, so it's fun to see, like, people come up to me with their parents after the show and go, and then, like, the parents, like, I'm the boomer, because I make fun of them. And I'm also making fun of the relationship. So it's just a fun show.
It's a great show.
It's really worked out. There's like no misses. Like if I'm gonna pat myself on the back again a second time on this episode. So we want people to come. The pre-sale starts on the 18th.
It might not make it to the regular sale. So
we had that happen last time. It sold out in 20 minutes.
Yes, I think it's unlikely to make it to the regular sale. So get them at the pre-sale if you want to make sure you're there. Get 4 seats for you and your parents and your friends.
That's
or your
right.
Lover, whatever it is.
Right, and let people know if someone doesn't listen to this show. I got a message the other day, and it was like the most kind message, and I get like teary eyed. Like it's like kind of crazy. Like I got this message. Jared just had to drop in and be that person, but I really here to offer an honest feather. My husband and I drove 3 hours from Monterey and stayed the night with my parents to come to your show in Sacramento, and we really enjoyed it. We didn't stop laughing, and my husband was bent over laughing almost the whole show. We spent the drive home the next day still talking about it. We've been going to see different comedians lately, Fluffy, Trevor Noah, Whitney Cummings, and watched comedy specials, Adam Sandler. We've been comparing them to you, and yours is better every time for various reasons. We had a hard time choosing a favorite part because it was all so good, but we both appreciated the relatable millennial point of view and realistic stories. Thanks for the laughs on the podcast. I'm loving the new format.
What a note.
What note is better than, that's like.
And then you block them.
Block them. They didn't follow, so I immediate block. Okay, enough of this show. Tarrytown, New York. The tickets are out, pre-sale.
They will sell out.
Code Betches. Go to jaredfreed.com. Right from there to my ticket page. It's all waiting for you. Bring the friends, the family, especially the family. It is so much fun.
Yes, this is a safe one to bring your parents to, unless they are very, very weird.
Well, yeah, I would say, if you're not comfortable with my show with your parents, you don't speak to your parents.
Yes,
you
have a separate secret life.
Right. Yes. So,
Jared, do you have anything else going on?
Tonight, the 18th, is the new Golden Bachelor.
Ooh.
It's the Golden Bachelorette.
I'm excited. I think I'm going to watch that one.
I think it's a more relatable show for the audience that enjoys this podcast. As some people might know, I like to yell at the show while it's happening.
Indeed.
I'll be yelling at the Golden Bachelorette. I yelled at the Golden Bachelor. It was so much fun. I've become friendly with the women who are on the Golden Bachelor. You know, Leslie and Teresa, they've all become friends. They're wonderful people. And I've heard that this season of the Golden Bachelorette is going to be great. Joan is the Golden Bachelorette. She has not reached out. She has kind of kept her distance from me.
Too cool.
I've made jokes about her.
Maybe she'll be on the show.
We'll see. But I'm also on the Bachelor podcast. We're going to recap every Golden Bachelorette episode on Thursday. So that's our new release day. So if you're looking for some fun, mindless television and you want to have like some commentary, because I go deep.
Yeah.
Like I kind of, you know,
get into the nuances of it. It's very, very funny.
So every Thursday, The Bachelor, go check it out. Get involved. I'm doing the live stream tonight, Wednesday. Yes. So what else is going on?
That's it. Check out Oversharing. You know, got a lot of shit going on.
We're taping on a Tuesday. I haven't gotten to my oversharing part of the day. That's my Zen part.
Oh, great.
That's when I really chill out.
Well, sometimes you text me with your feedback. So
I do.
I love hearing it.
I'm on top of it.
You are.
I got a lot of opinions, especially about today's email. What are we talking about?
Should we jump right in?
Let's jump right in.
Okay. I'll read this email.
Okay.
Dear J&J, Feather, I'll jump right in.
Good.
I, 31-year-old female, have been dating my partner, 26-year-old male.
Is partner in, now that we're on the subject of
I've heard a lot of partner
versus lesbian, do I have to be ready for this if I get in a relationship?
I never say partner, but I feel like I should. I would imagine it's so that it's more inclusive. So that someone who's like, who's in a gay or lesbian
someone
or
who's
other.
Lesbian. Look at I said it right.
Right. Mm. Someone who's lesbian, for example, doesn't have to change their phrasing, or you shouldn't assume that someone's partner is whatever gender.
I think partner only happens like a year before the marriage and a year after, maybe for a lot of women.
I think maybe it's a younger. It's like a Gen Z, more progressive way to talk about
31,
your partner.
You know, dating my partner, 26, but maybe it's for him.
Does partner
26.
mean unmarried?
I would think partner kind of goes across the board.
Could you say it right? Because I would assume it's to not gender your relationship.
Okay, like that's.
But I don't know where did everyone get this memo? Because I didn't get it. I think, but that happens to me a lot.
Right.
I, 31-year-old female, have been dating my partner, 26-year-old male, for 3 years, and we've been living together for 2.5. It's a long time to live together. You only dated
when they start dating? When he was 15?
23.
23.
And they moved in together, I guess, after 6 months because they've been dating for 3 years and living together for 2.5.
Okay.
We have a very passionate and loving relationship. But his forgetfulness...
What does that mean? Is it the passionate? They fuck?
I guess.
Right?
I assume that's a code for
that's gotta
we
be.
hook up.
If someone said, oh,
passionate.
yeah, my wife and I, we are completely passionate, I'd be like, what do you say? I'd be
like, passionate kiss is the first thing I think of when I think of passionate.
Oh, I think of them being a little bit like PDA and weird.
Could be.
Okay.
Could be.
Good for them.
Anyway.
Good for this partnership.
So we have a very passionate and loving relationship, but his forgetfulness, and she capitalizes that, sometimes makes me question whether or not he's endgame for me.
Okay.
I understand that it's very rare, if not impossible, to find a lifelong partner that ticks all of your boxes. But this one qualm could become a deal breaker as time goes on.
She sounds like the principal,
yes.
like the strict principal of a school. Yeah.
He doesn't forget important dates like my birthday, our dating anniversary, or intimate conversations we have, but it feels like he forgets everything else. He forgets ingredients at the grocery store. He forgets to lock the car. People have stolen things from our car because of this. He's forgotten to input our apartment number for online purchases and package deliveries. More than once, he's forgotten where he parked. Took 30 minutes to find it. The list goes on. I know these are things everyone forgets once or once in a while, but the rate at which he forgets things of this caliber is exponentially more than me. I find myself tallying up all of the times he forgets little things, and it makes me feel like I can't rely on him for simple yet important tasks. I think the real detriment to our relationship is the mental load that I find myself taking on to try and make sure things are always done the right way by constantly asking him how and if he's done something. Sometimes it feels like I'm asking a toddler if they remember to wipe their own ass. And I would just let it go, let him be forgetful and remedy things on his own. But his forgetfulness affects me and my time as well as his. I never feel like I can turn my brain off and let him take the wheel. I'd like to point out that he is not some sort of incompetent loser. He is very smart, insightful, and a creative with a full-time career as a music producer. I love almost everything else about him, but this one quality is eating away at me little by little. I know you may be thinking he's not the match for me, but he is in every way except for this. So, how do I look past this quality and stop driving myself insane by playing mom? We've already had conversations about how this makes me feel, but it still happens. Jordana, is this an issue you've run into with Mike? Jared, are all men this aloof?
Speak for all the men.
Ooh, is this just the way of the male brain? What do you think? No sign.
Well, I don't know if this is, there's some guys that are more detail oriented and there's some that are not. I'm thinking back to when I was in a relationship. I mean, like, this is like kind of like sitcom dad stuff.
Right.
Like, he never gets the groceries. He forgets to do this. He forgets the laundry. Like, I think even Ray Romano has a bit in his stand-up, it's a great stand-up special, and it's actually like inspiring to me. It's like him with his whole family at the end, which I find very nice.
That's good.
But he has a bit about like not knowing where the laundry machine was in his house. Like, and it's like, yeah, you're Ray Romano. Why would you know where the laundry? Like, he's not doing the laundry. Like, he had to like ask one of his kids or something.
How do you turn it on?
Right, something along those lines where it was like such a small thing.
This is a little bit of a trope. I have to say, I'm this guy in my relationship.
So it flips.
Yes. Yeah. I have been described by many people as aloof.
Okay.
I will say as aloof. And I'm the one who's usually forgetting stuff or not that organized or not doing things. And does Mike get annoyed sometimes?
What would what's the last time he got annoyed with you forgetting?
Forgetting to put the top on my smoothie.
And spilling it all over the car.
And
now you got a car that smells like smoothie.
Yes. I might get divorced over this smoothie.
Is it still going? It's an ongoing issue.
It's getting better.
That means
it's getting better, but it is not. That. I literally said, like, the smoothie is ruining our lives.
So what are you doing? You cleaning the car?
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing everything I can. He's like, I think he probably feels a little like this listener of like, this is kind of annoying. Part of me wishes I were probably with someone who just would never allow the smoothie to be spilled in the car.
Right.
He didn't say that, but I can imagine. I wouldn't fault him for that thought going through his head of like, I'm the one who's like, who's not spilling things all the time. Or mine is more about like, I don't forget stuff quite as much as I'm just like messy, which is I think another version of this thing. I think another important part of this email is that they moved in together when this guy was 23 years old.
I think so too. I think she feels that like she's mothered him to this point.
Well, he's had no independence.
Right, and she's had enough of this. And look at the boyfriend I've brought up. He doesn't even, none of it's even taking.
I mean, this guy has gone from essentially from college to living with a woman.
Right.
To me, I'm kind of like, that would make sense. Like if I had moved in with a man at 23 years old, this is like the grown-up version of myself spilling smoothies on the car.
Right. Right.
Like if I would be way worse at that age. So I think maybe he hasn't had time to grow up on his own. So this is partly due to that.
Right. And I would say, I guess, yeah, I don't know. It's tough to speak for all the men out there. Mm-hmm. But I would say that I'm definitely like, listen, I remember when I lived with my ex, I was, there were things that like she would say that I go, I never even would have thought of it.
Right.
Like, I think the idea that he's good with all the romantic stuff and it's all this other stuff that she's like annoyed with and tallying up. I'm like, how about you just don't ask him to do these things? Like this isn't what he does.
But that's what she's annoyed about, is that she's going to have to do it then for the rest of her life if she marries him.
Right. But it's like what do you pay? You forgot stuff at the grocery store? Like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm more like him than her that I'm like, it seems like you're a little bit, you're attaching to these issues because then you're going, what am I guess the idea is like, what am I missing out on? Like, right. Would I rather the boyfriend who does everything except forgets our anniversary?
Yes.
I don't know. Some people would. I guess.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing with any negative. Every positive relationship quality has an opposite negative quality that comes with it. This guy is passionate. He's creative. Mm-hmm. Those people are not usually like the most anal and type A and on top of shit. Like you have to think she could find someone relatively easily, I would imagine, who's never forgets anything, is really on top of everything, is super organized and hyper focused on stuff, but they might not be that passionate.
Right. And she loses the one thing she used to describe their relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, but maybe that's more important to her. We can't answer this for her. She has to look inside and say, what are the things that I actually really value? Is this person a good match for me? Or can I not get over this? Because I do think she could probably help move him. And we've said this before. She could move him like maybe 20% towards more mindful.
Yeah.
But he's never going to be the most on top of it, never forgetting anything kind of guy. So it's really up to her to say, and it doesn't make him bad or good. This is what I can accept, and this is what I can't accept.
Right. And I think, I will say, guys are fixers. Mm-hmm. So if it's like, it is no surprise that he takes care of the big things.
Right.
The little things, he's like, who gives a shit? She'll forgive me for it.
Right.
Maybe you gotta like a couple of the things you gotta make unforgivable. Like, and I do understand where she's coming from. The idea of like, now it's like clogging my brain.
Right. Maybe like the locking the door thing.
Right. Like if you gotta pick the most severe ones.
Right.
And know that you're just with a forgetful guy.
I need you to turn off the stove when you leave the house.
Right. Well,
it's really important to me.
Teach him my trick.
Right.
Off.
I've actually used that.
Yeah.
Since you've given it to me.
Yeah.
And as someone who's also, did I blow out the candle? Did I turn off the oven? Did I turn off my straightener? And I feel bad for him because I have the same tendencies a lot of the time. Again, it's more with messiness, but
maybe
there are tips that she could use instead of like yelling at him.
Here's how I remember stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's more helpful than you always forget is like, hey, when I turn off the oven, I yell off.
Right.
Because it rings in my brain.
I do that with, maybe she could tell them that for the car. When I leave the car, I put the key against, I face it towards the car and I write locked.
Right.
I say locked.
Scream it out. It feels stupid, but I do it because it makes me not forget. Now, if the idea of explaining that to someone like turns you off, yeah, maybe you're with someone that you've outgrown.
Yeah.
Like that is a possibility.
Or this is something that you value highly and the other person doesn't have it. It doesn't mean he's a monster. It just means this is something more important to you than others. Right. And I think that's sort of the key to a happy relationship also, is sort of anticipating, knowing someone so well that you can anticipate where they're going to do well,
right,
where they're going to struggle, what they need from you, what like that's sort of the intimacy of a long-term relationship,
right,
that you won't get from dating 3 months from
totally
anyone.
Agree.
I think that's one of the best parts of a long-term relationship.
Yes.
Is you got people who like understand how each other work. That's like really knowing someone.
Right.
Besides like the intimate vulnerability in like the day-to-day.
Right. You want to treat someone like an old Chevy.
Yes.
It's like you know how to start it. Right. You know how to kick the door. You got to be easy with the latch, Yeah. These are all things. And also like I can understand where you're not ready for that. Mm-hmm. This isn't you don't have fun with this version of this Chevy.
Yeah. But this reads very much to me 31-year-old dating a 26-year-old that they started dating when he was young.
I think she's got to like come to terms with those facts a little bit.
That's an important part of this, right?
Let's do an awkward encounter. Dear J&J, really need your help with an awkward ongoing situation I'm having with a guy, and I think you're the perfect people to help. For context, I'm a 35-year-old female who got out of a bad 6-year relationship a few years ago. Recently, I got back into the dating game. The stakes are pretty high given my age, and that I'm looking for a long-term partner to start a family with, so please keep this in mind when you give me your advice. A lot of pressure they're putting on us.
Right. I need this to work out.
I'm 36. It's over for me.
The last shot.
She says to a 39-year-old single.
It's a great mentality to go into dating with.
Right. You're making me anxious.
Right.
I can't imagine what a date with you is like.
Right.
Please make
We don't even need to read the rest of the email. We know your answer is to just relax.
Chill the fuck out.
Yes.
Go get your eggs frozen. That's my My answer to this, I cannot afford to waste. I mean, she literally wrote, I cannot afford to waste time.
You can afford to waste time. Just take a deep breath.
Yeah, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Please keep in mind with your advice that I am 36 years old.
An emergency.
I am single. I cannot afford to waste time. Sounds like a fun first date. I'll get straight to it. I met a great guy on the apps about 4 months ago. We have progressed to seeing each other regularly and having sleepovers. He's really everything I've ever wanted in a partner, apart from one thing that I've never had to think about in a previous relationship. He has a very loud snorer. To stop the snoring, he wears a retainer/mouth guard. It's highly necessary. Honestly, the snoring is unbearable without it. Okay. Have you ever dealt with a snorer?
Not really.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean,
if anything, it's been like a cute
I've dealt with
snore.
a friend that's a snorer.
Oh, really?
I won't name names.
Don't want to put anyone on blast?
No. If you're listening, which I think you are, you know who you are.
You know, if you know, you know. He puts in the mouth guard. Maybe this would help them.
Maybe I'm going to suggest it to them.
Right. Next time you go on a vacation together. Yeah. He puts in the mouth guard right before he's about to fall asleep. Problem is, when we wake up, he doesn't take it out right away. He wants to cuddle me and will kiss my neck. With the mouth guard in? Like, was he pecking at her?
Is a mouth guard like a retainer? Is it different?
It's in your mouth.
Okay.
There's no outside portion to it, I would assume.
Okay.
I dodge the mouth kisses in the morning at all costs, and morning sex is nowhere on my mind. I haven't got close enough to it to tell you if it's stinky, but I shudder just thinking about the stinky breath mouth guards usually give people. It also distorts his speech when he talks with the mouth guard in, and it's starting to give me the ick. I end up jumping out of bed in the morning saying something like, okay, time to get up.
Wakey, wakey.
To encourage him to get out of bed and get that mouth guard out of his mouth. So how disgusting is this that he wants to kiss me with his gross mouth guard in? As a non-disgusting girl, I could really use some advice from a couple of disgustings like yourselves. And awaiting your advice with bated breath, Betch. Good sign off.
Well, she's come to the right place.
Yeah.
She's come to the right place because I have to say I wear a retainer.
Okay.
Every other night. And
so it's similar.
I haven't indeed have had sex with the retainer.
You've had it with it in?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the feedback?
I haven't heard anything. So either Mike is silently thinking that I'm absolutely disgusting.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's no different than like a morning.
Sex?
Yeah. Like a morning breath.
Yeah.
To me, it's no different than if you had sex before brushing your teeth.
Of course.
To me, it's like to me, I'm not the one kissing myself. But he hasn't said anything. I don't know.
She might just not like morning breath, period. But it seems
possible.
Like she's put a lot of the breath stuff on the mouth guard.
It might be that. I mean, I've smelled my own breath on it. It doesn't feel that different than
but that's
morning.
Your own.
Yeah.
No,
I'll have to ask him.
My farts smell great.
I'm going to ask him. He's never said anything, and I feel like we're at the point in our relationship where he would.
Right.
I feel like he would. He'd be like, okay,
right.
Like, you got the smell of there's certain things that he'll call out. So I feel like he would call that out if he thought it was, maybe he doesn't I don't even know if he notices or knows.
I think she's at the point where you can say something. They're 4 months in. She likes him a lot. Yeah. Hey, when you peck me with the mouth guard, I can't get that out of my head.
Sure.
I think that's like
that's fine. Yeah.
Okay thing to say, right?
And he's going to be like, well, fuck you. You're 36. So I'm going to.
Take me or leave me. You're stuck with me now, kid.
I don't think it's that gross, but I think if it bothers her, that's totally fine. She should do exactly what you said.
Right. Hey, the mouth guard, I can't get that out of my head.
Do you think it would bother you?
Nothing. No. This would not bother. In fact, I'd be like, this is kind of hot. I understand. To me, she speaks so much in extremes in her whole email that I think like she needs to like. I actually think her problem
a little high
is
strung.
It's greater than she's even like asking about. Uh-huh. Like I read this email. I wasn't kidding. The beginning of her email, when you say, I'm 36, keep this in mind when you give your advice. Like, okay. Like, right. As if we wouldn't be
she's like, I have 6 months to live.
Right.
Please keep this in mind.
That's the way she's talking.
Right.
And she's been with this guy 4 months. You know, I met a great guy 4 months ago. We have progressed to seeing each other regularly. He's really everything I wanted in a partner. You don't know that. It's 4 months in. And you found this one thing that
we've already found your problem, and it's not the email.
Right. Your problem is you're putting too much on. It is so all or nothing that like you can't even approach him with this thing that doesn't feel that big. So because she's made this so extreme and so life or death, she's even saying the ick, which like all icks become corks once you like them. Yeah. So you look at this guy,
and especially when you can be honest about them.
Absolutely.
Of like, that's your thing you do with your
your
mouth guard.
And, and then you're going to actually like him more when you go, listen, the mouth guard, I can't take it. I put a lot on it, and I know it's a little bit me, but also mouth guards in the morning, it's been in your mouth all night. It's one of those things that's on my mind. When he goes, oh yeah, I'll take it out, you're going to end up liking him more.
Agreed.
Because you got to take something that's extreme and make it middle. Just like your life as a single 36-year-old woman, it's not that big a deal.
Agreed.
You're going to find something.
Good luck.
Let's do another email.
All right. Hey, Jared and Joanna, longtime listener, first-time emailer. I've been single for about 1.5 years now, coming off a 1-year relationship, and I've been swiping my way through the dating app universe on and off for what feels like 1,000,000 years. In reality, it's been about 8. Jared, when you said you're tired, I felt that in my soul.
Sing it, sister.
Sometimes I wish I could
I like her.
You like her?
Yeah.
This one you like.
I like the other one too, but I think the other one needs to, like, this person.
The other one just needs to take a deep breath.
Your relationship, you're single.
Do some meditating.
I feel like I've been on these apps for a decade, forever.
I'm tired. I get it.
I'm tired. I'm with you.
Sometimes I wish I could just get 15 minutes with these guys to see if there's any actual chemistry before committing to a whole night of hair, makeup, and the mental gymnastics of meeting a stranger. Can we petition the big dating apps to add this feature, please? I mean, how great would it be to vibe check someone via a quick, no-pressure in-person convo?
Well,
that's something you can request.
You can do this.
Yes.
You can say, hey, can we do a FaceTime? This is how I do it. This is company policy. And
right. She's writing as if there's almost like phones weren't invented. Like if only you could find a way to speak to someone before you go out with them.
Well, I can understand from her defense would be, I don't want to be too much. I don't want to be that person. But I think tastes change, people change, and you have a new company policy. You've noticed that. I think she needs to like stop. You know, I think what we do in dating a lot is we kind of like stay by these rules of the they. Again, they'd be mad if you made that movie today. It relates to this. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think women especially do this, where they want to know if they're right or wrong.
Yeah.
They don't want to be too much. Tell me I'm doing this right. And
want to please.
Right. And it is
scare anyone away.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's like, she literally just said, I want to FaceTime someone before a date. I wish they could just invent this thing.
Right. Just ask for it.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want to. And you don't want to do your hair and makeup. Yeah. I've never, like, the idea that I couldn't handle seeing a woman that looks whatever she looks like in her profile, then again,
I wouldn't do it just because I'm kind of like, I want to put my best foot forward.
Of course. I mean, I'm not assuming everyone's a disgusting like us. But I'm sure you're 7. It's enough.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm at a 7 right now.
Well, then you really impressed with the first date. You impressed with
right.
Yeah.
But like, I think you got to trust that guys are way less horrific than the online representation makes us out to be.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Because I think the idea that you can't just go on the phone in your workout clothes. I told you I walked by the Sex and the City taping.
Oh, yeah. It's very cool.
The Sex and the City taping, the lighting was coming down. You know, it was like 7 o'clock. I just did a Barry's boot camp. I hadn't gone to Barry's boot camp in, I actually looked, 2 years.
Wow. How was it?
It was, I have complaints.
Is it changed?
So they have like 2 apps now.
Okay.
I got very frustrated. I don't know what it was. I got home yesterday and I was like, I think I follow an instructor and they were posting their classes. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a Barry's class. I don't want to like.
It worked.
It worked. And I wanted my mind to drift. I didn't want to have to think of like what the next workout was. I just wanted to be yelled at and do it. They don't call themselves Barry's Boot Camp anymore. They're Barry's.
Is boot camp like canceled?
No, she said we've dropped boot camp because less people will come. We wanted to make it more open.
I see. Sound less difficult.
Right.
Okay.
For all us fatties. By the time it was over, I had that, that sweaty shirt after a class.
That feels good.
the best. And I was walking home.
Feel better than everyone?
Everyone. And then I passed the Sex and the City taping, and they're taping the new Sex and the City, which everyone hates on. But still, and I told you this over text, I was like, it still has a hold on New York. Like, to see them taping at Tartine.
It's classic. I mean, Sex and the City is classic New York. It's called Sex and the City.
I know.
The city is New York.
The character of the show.
There's a whole episode about Carrie like dating New York City, which is kind of stupid. But
that's so douchey. If you heard a human being say that, you'd be like, get the fuck away.
You would never be able to make that now. All right, we digress.
Well, she was standing with the guy. What was his name? Aiden is tall.
I hope his wardrobe has improved. She's also very short, so he probably looked a lot taller next to her. I think she's like 5 feet tall or something.
It was a giant among us. She looked amazing.
Really?
I'm not like that's not someone I would go nuts for. My penis would go, we'll go to the next one. She looked, I was like.
Interesting.
She's done up for the show, but the outfit, the hair, everything, she just like. But then as I walked home.
I always thought Carrie was like just the right level of hot. Like relatable hot.
Oh, she's totally New York City, high fashion hot. She's
you thought unrelatable hot. You thought she was?
No, she's like the perfect look for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like you could feel like you could be her, right? Because she's just hot enough, but she's not like a knockout.
I see Carries every day in this city, where you're like they're in their work clothes and like the high heels and like they've
got it going on.
The pleated pants that are like fitted, hair done up, and you're like, man. I guess that's like my porn category if I'm thinking about it. Like
Carrie Bradshaw?
Carrie Bradshaw, cigarette after work. I've had it.
I love it. Tuesdays in the West Village.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right,
let me finish this email.
Finish it up.
Here's the thing. I keep swiping right on the same type of guys, and I'm bored out of my mind. And it's not working. None of these dates are going anywhere. However, I recently learned that, surprise, I might be the problem. Cue Jared, dramatically gasping. Really? I matched with this guy on Hinge 2 or 3 times over the past few months. We talked a little, I gave him my number, but I wasn't too hopeful because his profile was quirky and didn't pass my admittedly flawed online vibe check. Flash forward 6 months, I was set up on a networking date with guess who? The quirky profile guy from Hinge. Turns out, in real life, he's sweet, has great energy, super hot, and way more normal than his profile suggested. The bad news? Some other girl already realized this, and he's now off the market.
Oh, no.
So my burning question is, how do I get past this app-induced judgment? How do I break out of this rut of only going for the same type of guy without burning myself out with useless dates? Is it time to just stop obsessing over guys' stupid prompt answers and outdated photos and start meeting people where they're at in 3D, where the magic actually happens? Sounds like a Carrie Bradshaw sign-off.
Right.
Then I got to thinking. Thanks for all the laughs and advice. You've made this whole dating roller coaster a little more bearable. Warmly, the betch who maybe should have just trusted the quirky profile.
Well, let me first start with telling her to be kind to herself.
Yeah, I think this is one example. Well, you can't judge your entire strategy based on one thing that you got wrong.
Absolutely. And she didn't get it wrong. I actually think she's relating apples to oranges.
Okay.
And I hear everything she's saying. This whole thing of like, the thing about being single is like all the questions, like, am I doing it right? Am I throwing away good people? Am I being too much? Am I a snob? Do I care about the wrong things? All these questions, and no one, at least when you're in a relationship, you have another person who can encourage your delusions.
Okay.
When you're alone, you go down this rabbit hole of negativity, and she's a little bit there, which I understand. She needs to be kinder to herself. Meeting on an app and meeting in person are 2 completely different things.
And this happens to everyone.
Totally. So the guy's Hinge profile didn't excite you. Meeting him in person is just by nature exciting.
Right.
The idea that he could hold a conversation with
especially
a smile,
in a non-date manner, which is where they met in a networking manner.
Absolutely. So, like, of course he looks better in 3D than he does on the app. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying everyone is, but like,
I think most people are.
Fine, but I think most people are more exciting.
Right, yeah.
When met in person. And, that's why you go, well, how did you find that? We were out. And I think a lot of men are more excited about the women they meet in person. than
for
on
sure,
the
both
app.
ways.
Right.
Think,
So so I think she's like confusing the excitement of like in-person meeting. So maybe this should tell her something, that like the apps aren't where you cannot get to a place. She's putting this in like she's making it her fault, but it's like the apps maybe aren't for you as much as you're making them for you.
Right. And again, you could still use them as one piece of the dating pie.
Right.
And I think if there's a lesson, it's like maybe you get a little bit more of a thrill from meeting people in person. And it's football Sunday.
Right. And maybe you're better at meeting people in person than you give yourself credit. These apps are crutches. They were made for people with low interpersonal skills. They were made for them, not you. You went to a networking event, met a guy who you were attracted to, got to the point in conversation where you found out whether he's with someone or not. Mm-hmm. That's pretty high-level interpersonal conversation.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe the problem is this guy makes a shitty dating profile.
Yeah, that too.
That could be the other part of it.
And here's the other thing to this whole thing is back to the beginning of what we said. Do a FaceTime. Because I think the biggest mistake is I don't want to go on a date with someone who wants to go on a date with me so quickly. Okay, so like I don't want to go on a date with mediocre conversations, and it sounded like you guys had a mediocre conversation. Right. You deserve better. So if you're going to go, I want to talk to the person, get their vibe first. Hey, I'm going on a walk. Want to FaceTime when I go on this walk? Do it while you're walking.
Right.
I think that helps add energy to it.
And also takes the edge off.
Right. Where are you going?
Would you say yes if someone asked you to do that?
Of course.
You would do a FaceTime before a date?
Oh, of course. Yeah. If I was like, if I would have to be on my end, like interested and intrigued.
Enough.
Like,
but if you're interested enough to actually go on the date, I feel like you would do it.
Of course.
Yeah.
If they said, hey, before I go out with someone, I just like to like chit chat on the phone. Like I kind of want to like get that first date stuff out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk.
Get the vibe check. Yeah.
7:00 tonight, I'm going on a walk. You want to, and especially with headphones and.
Yeah, I've had people ask me to do that, and I would say no if I wasn't that interested.
Right.
I was kind of on the fence about going out with them anyway.
Yeah, because that's the date. Mm-hmm. That's the first date.
Right.
So yeah,
But I would do it. I think if I was kind of excited about going out.
Absolutely. There's no anyone who wouldn't. You have to question what the motives are here. Do they even want to get to know you?
Right.
Oh, I'm not good on the phone. Well, you're probably not good in person
either.
So right. I'm okay with that.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think for her, and again, to go back to like, the porn that I was writing, you in, a ponytail with, workout stuff on, you look great. I'm going to tell you, I can promise you look great.
You're not like, do you not think that women look better when they're done up though?
Of course, but not better, different.
Different.
I actually would say different. I think like this idea of like better or worse. Like here's the thing, women connect. You women.
Tell us about us.
Let me tell you guys how you feel. It seems as though the connection between mind, body, and soul is way more connected. Like when women say, I got to be in the right headspace to like get off, so to speak.
Right.
This is me listening to the feedback from women. So the idea, it does make sense that a woman in her like post-workout clothes is like, I feel disgusting, right. So I am disgusting. I would tell you most men would disagree with that.
Right. But if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel.
Right.
And like if you don't feel like that's going to bring a good energy to whatever you're doing.
Right. But I'm saying it's like one of those like, I don't know, like I kind of am more.
You want to see them at their worst before you commit to seeing them in person.
It's not even about that. It's just more like I think it's like just takes the edge off of everything. She's talking about putting on makeup and doing her hair for every date.
Right.
I'm wasting my time. So stop wasting your time.
Start looking like shit.
I don't think hair and makeup is marginal to me. This is what as far as returns are concerned, if we look at like the economics of it.
I get it. I probably wouldn't do it. I wouldn't, but
well, what if you did like a half?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
If I put on a little mascara, to me that's like the difference between that makes the biggest difference to me. If I put on a little mascara, that's fine. I don't need to do a full face of makeup.
I agree. You're doing it for you.
Right.
So whatever makes you feel best, but if it's like, if you have that half version where you feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're.
Do it.
It takes away the the importance level of it all.
I agree. Too much. Sounds like there's too much pressure on this.
Let's play some games. This week's Red Flag or Deal Breaker is sponsored by Angry Orchard. Picking the right drink for your party is like picking the right partner. It can be overwhelming. The coolers are always spilling with different options, and it can be tough to please everyone. That's why my go-to drink is Angry Orchard Hard Cider. They have a variety of offerings for any taste, and they're all crazy crisp and madly refreshing. We want to pass our listeners an ice-cold Angry Orchard this week, regardless of whether we think their write-in is a bit of a red flag or a full-on deal breaker. We want to share a cider with them and hear more. Let's jump right in. Love Angry Orchard, into it. If you're gluten-free, what a great option too.
I have to say, when I think of like the perfect pleasant fall, what is the word you think of? Crisp.
Right.
And that's the same feeling you get.
I want to drink my fall.
Yes.
Crisp.
Is there any better
fall
feeling?
In my body.
Exactly.
Let's play some games. Red flag or deal breaker. The old game we always play. We love a red flag or deal breaker. You ready?
You want to do the first one?
I'll do it. Hi, J&J. Feather, longtime listener of the pod. I have a theory about men.
Ooh.
Okay. We've entered this person's blog, and I wanted to hear your take on it. In my mid-late 20s, I've dated a mix of guys over the last 5 years or so, and I've come to a conclusion. There are only two types of men in this world. Will you rub my back, guys? And let me rub your back, guys.
Wow.
Have
Profound.
you experienced this?
I understand what she's saying.
Okay.
I don't think I've met many guys who either offer or ask for back rubs.
Okay, but there's similar things.
Yes, but I understand
what's being asked for. I give or I take is kind of the difference in men.
Yes.
That's at least a pattern I've noticed. The guys who aren't looking for anything serious or it will fizzle into a situationship, they are always the ones asking for a back rub. Usually post-sex, lying in bed. She makes these guys sound like the worst, hey, now that you've blown me, why don't you just tickle my back? Like, what? Okay.
Get in there.
The ones who are genuinely better guys have never asked, and I feel like are more affectionate with physical touch. Maybe it's just my experience, but is it a red flag or deal breaker? They ask for a back rub. Best get off my back.
Interesting. I would say I think you could replace back rub with anything. They ask for anything.
Will you get me? Will you get me a water?
Yeah.
That's not a good guy to date.
Can I get it? Let me get us waters.
Let me get you a water?
Yeah.
Where
do you keep your glasses?
Black and white is this?
Where do you keep your glass? I can understand the givers and there's takers.
It's funny that women call this love languages.
Could be. You're saying he's asking for.
I like show. I'm a. What do they call it? I giving. What are the love languages? What's the bullshit?
Gift giving, acts of service, words of affirmation,
physical touch.
Yeah.
You say this a different way, and
right after
it's
sex,
all of a sudden romantic.
You can't be requesting things right after sex.
I don't know a moment where I've had sex and then I go, okay, give Papa Bear a big rub.
Well, does he ask for a back rub and then not offer one back? My friend Ian always used to have this phrase, his motto, you scratch my back, you scratch my back.
I like his style.
As in like, there's no you scratch my back, you scratch my back. That's
right.
it. That's it. All. I'm not looking to scratch your back.
I'm with Ian. I like a back tickle, a head tickle, rub. I don't need it. Like I'll go.
Do you ask for it? Like, let's play this out.
I'll nuzzle in for I'll do what a dog would do.
Mm-hmm. Do you offer to scratch someone else's
move my
back? leg
like that, like a dog.
Do you ever scratch their back?
I'll do a scratch. I'll do a light tickle. I'll do a head caress.
Mm-hmm.
Will I? If someone said please, oh my God, that feels so good. Of course.
Right.
I don't see this as
you don't see the correlation.
I don't see it as black and white as they're putting it. Like the idea, it would. I think this is movie. This is Bridesmaids. This is Kristen Wiig with John Hamm. That was funny.
Right.
And I'm sure in the lens of looking backwards of he was always asking for back rubs. I should have known. We all know until we don't. If you like someone, you're doing those things for them. And it feels good to do it for them, and it also feels good to have it done to you. I don't know.
Would you ask after the first time you slept with someone for someone to rub your back?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
Right.
I'd like to think that there's an even give and take to any post-sex thing that's going on with me and this person in the bed. Like, I do, listen, if someone, there are points, it is funny as like a single person, and you end up on a date with someone, you kind of like having a good time, and then there's like, you know, you're touching each other a little bit, and you get the touch of another human.
Yeah.
And you go, that's what I've been kind of missing. There's a sad moment of like.
That's why I used to love massages when I was single.
Right.
It's nice to be touched.
It is.
Yeah.
I actually, you know, you go to those
Sounds
like nail
sad
salons.
when I say it out loud.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to say I'll go to the nail salon. I don't even need a girlfriend. I'll go to the nail salon. I'll get the $20 15-minute head massage. Give me a head tickle. Give me the.
Yeah.
Every nail salon should have the relationship special.
Single special.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Be my girlfriend.
I
for
think they call
15
that
minutes.
A happy ending.
Head
touching
tickles.
of the back and the shoulders. Someone touching your shoulders does feel like, I don't know. It feels,
at home.
Yeah, you feel like you're home.
Right, and you have this, and I've even just been on date. Not even the joke. Like I've been on dates where you feel someone touch your back or head in a nice way, and I'm like. Yeah. Man, I don't know if I need this just hand or you. I don't know if what I need out of this.
It's just a human touch.
Right. And you go when someone's like, what's the important thing about being in a relationship? You go, and they would say like just having the touch of another human.
Totally. I would think that about like sex sometimes. I'm like, I don't even know if I remember being single. I don't even know if I'm like wishing I had more sex right now or if I just kind of need to feel the weight of a man on me.
Listen. I understand. Like I feel that with like the touch of a woman, like this. So like, I can understand that if you went home with someone,
but they just slept together, so he got it seemingly.
It's that's different. Just like you just said, it's different. You know, like love and affection is different than lust.
But if you're starting with giving, I think that's a better sign. I'm not saying this is a deal breaker, but I do think it's a better sign to start with. What can I do for you? It might be more the guy who's looking for a relationship might be. I could see how it would be correlated to what can I do for you.
Let me give a more realistic version of this.
Let's hear it.
You just had sex. You're cuddling, and then. I'm cuddling the woman.
Okay.
And then I turn over and I put her hand over me and she starts tickling my head.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, that feels amazing. And she keeps going.
Okay. That's fine.
Is that me going?
No.
That's to me but that's something I would do.
That's fine.
I would signal like,
yes, I would do that.
That feels amazing.
That too. I would do that too.
Right. I think any human being would want that.
Asking out of, no, we're done with sex. We're lying there. You know, it'd be great if you just gave me a back rub right now.
I can't believe that's happening.
I can see it. There are certain like douchey guys who just looking to hook up.
People need to write in with their experience with guys asking for back rubs. I will say this. I am not an even rubber. You give me 20 on my back, you're getting like 3.
You scratch my back, you scratch my back.
That's right.
Mike and
That's why Ian is totally right. Like I'm happy to get that back rub, but I'm gonna like, are you done yet?
Yeah. Mike and I have the same. We have a Theragun.
Okay.
So we'll take turns Theragunning each other, and it's always like, I feel like I gave you more time than I'm getting back.
Right.
Are we good? And then there's a certain amount of time we're like, are we good?
Right. This is why people pay for a massage. You know, like this is the reason. Because at some point you go, I don't know what I'm doing here. I got one move. Up up your back, the middle, and then the shoulders, and then I'm out.
It should be outsourced. I agree. Red flag. He asks
Red
you
flag.
he straight out with no context asks you for a back rub after sex. Red flag.
Not a deal breaker.
Not a deal breaker.
No, I don't think the correlation she's created is, if he's a monster, is he gonna be a situationship? Yeah, probably. Like,
right. Well, correlation, not causation, but I can see how the two would correlate. I'll say that. I'll give her that.
Let's do another.
All right. Hi, J&J. I'm one of your elder listeners.
Old woman Aunt Betty writing in.
Grandma in
we
the
got
house.
this off. A crow dropped this off.
Grandma in the house. I became unexpectedly single last year at 45, but having listened, but having been listening the way before then, and look forward to the YouTube uploads each week.
Thank you.
A lady reached out to me on Meetup saying it seemed we had mutual interest. She was new to town, looking for new friends, etc. It's important to note it was a lesbian group.
Okay.
I was also looking for new
lesbian group.
Lesbian, not a lesbian.
Not a lesbian.
I think this one's okay.
They didn't write it right.
Well, no, this is. I think.
Well, it is a lesbian group.
Just like it would be a gay group.
Right.
I think this one's okay.
This is
context
okay. I'm just making sure.
Yes. I was looking for new friends since my breakup, so I invited her to our next group meet. We hit it off. After hanging out multiple times, she revealed she had a crush on me. I sent a text in response indicating that while I was honored, I didn't feel the same, but would like to continue our friendship. She agreed and was happy to pursue a platonic friendship.
Uh-oh.
I later invited her and another friend to my home for food and games one night for the first time. I'm just imagining. Can you come? Do you want to come over for food?
Food and games?
Food.
Sounds like an alien inviting you over to murder you.
First day on this planet.
Would you like food and or games?
And shelter.
And merriment.
I realized 15 minutes before they were set to arrive that I had not sent my address. Note, they live over 45 minutes from my house.
Uh-oh.
They showed up 5 minutes later. When they arrived, I mentioned not sharing my address, and my original friend said, "Don't you remember? I've been here before." She had not. I kind of smiled and nodded, but red flag or deal breaker. A friend knows your address before you give it to them. Thanks. Am I a stalked bitch? Do you think this was a case of the Zillows?
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, it's got to be. Well, also, you're 45 minutes away.
That's what she's saying. Like, it's weird they didn't ask before. They clearly have known my address this whole time. How did they get it?
Right, but be here at 8, and everyone's like, I don't know how to get there.
Why not say that instead of I Googled you instead of
I've been here before.
I've been here before.
That's weird to say I've been here before. I apologize for interrupting a little bit. I hope I didn't break up the flow of that email because I'm trying to understand it now as I made fun of it the whole way through. Is that it has nothing to do with her being friends with.
Doesn't seem like it. Seems like it has
this
nothing
person
to do
she
with the
turned
dating
down.
aspect. Because
Right.
the person who said it is her other friend.
Right. So the person who said it
sort of irrelevant
drove
information.
the new friend there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering. Like,
seems like that.
So I would understand that. Like, who in this car knows where I live? Is it the one that said she had a crush on me? Is it the one that I've been friends with for years and like kind of had they kind of had a handle?
Yeah, I would say it's a little weird. What would you say anything about it?
I would be like, how'd you find my address? I would more want to know.
You haven't been here. Be like, you haven't been here.
You've never been here. How did you find it more for my own peace of mind?
Right.
To know, like, how are people finding my home?
It's okay. And I would say, like, it's all right if you Googled my name, my address.
But I kind of want to know, like, how out there am I? Like, I think we all kind of have this thing of, like, we know there's stuff out there.
Right.
I'd rather just not know about it.
It could be innocent too, though. Like I've never been to some houses, but I've sent maybe like a baby gift to someone or a gift, and I found out their address from someone else.
Absolutely. And I've Googled certain names and found addresses that way.
Right. It doesn't have to be like nefarious.
Right. I think the more nefarious thing is I've never been here, or I've been here before. It's like, don't mess with my reality. Weird. Yeah. That annoys me more than anything else.
Right. Don't lie.
Right. Just say,
I stalked you.
I know your house is worth $500,000.
It's on my Google houses to watch list.
Right. All right, let's do one more.
Let's do it.
Big fan writing in from Mexico City. I love it. That's like a hot spot right now, right?
Yeah, it's on my list. I want to go.
It's on all the lists. That's right. I hear the food is unbelievable, but no ocean.
Yeah, that's tough. That's why I haven't been.
Lost for me. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to get me there.
Yeah.
No body of water. This is something I said. My friends went and
You're
they were
a beach guy.
I gotta have something.
Yeah, I get it.
My friends went and they loved it. Loved. Like love. And I was like, you go to a place without water?
Listen, get a crew together in Mexico City and make the entire city listen to the show, and we'll come do a show there.
Right. I've been listening from the start, but first time writing in since I have an interesting red flag or deal breaker. For context, I started my own event planning business a month ago, which is named after me. I recently started talking to a guy on Bumble, and when we were texting today, I sent him a preview of my new business cards, to which he replied, "Wow, you really didn't put too much thought into the name."
Oh my God.
Brutal. I was turned off at first, but decided to reply with "ja, ja, 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 ja." So rude.
That's ha, ha, ha in Mexico City.
Thank you. I when you get a "ja, ja, ja," I'm like, "Whoa, aye, this is hot." I'm into it.
Wow.
And continued the conversation. He then replied, "No, but seriously though, not an original name." Oh, he doubled down. Oh my God. And proceeded to give me other unsolicited advice about my business card design. This project is obviously very personal and important to me, so I don't know if I'm overreacting or if it's reasonable to be upset/turned off. I shared with my close friends to get their opinions as well. Maybe I'm just burned out by the dating scene. So what do you think? Red flag or deal breaker? Gives you unsolicited business advice before you even go on a date. Thanks for all you do. A single girl in Mexico City. Well, I appreciate this email. I think this is a fantastic red flag or deal breaker. What say you?
Deal breaker. That's crazy. I didn't ask. You're going to tell me that my business name is bad. I've already incorporated it. I printed business cards. Most importantly, though, I didn't fucking ask you.
Right. I sent it to you to be like, because I like it.
Yeah.
It's like having
share
the
my
baby.
life with you.
Right. I'm sharing my life. It's like having a baby and going, the name is Jared. What? I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I agree. This is a deal breaker. This is a miscalculation of like what flirting is. Mm-hmm. I have this happen to me a lot.
I'm sure. I'm thinking of this would be a quick block for you.
Goodbye. Never speak to me. Never look at me. She came to the right place.
Yes.
To feel
I feel bad
validated.
that she's even questioning herself.
No. She should take his number and toss it into the sea. I did this. I got fixed up. And then, when I used to do my bachelor previews, I would write up these whole write-ups, and I loved doing them, but I also enjoyed, I would send them to certain people.
Yeah. I used to get them.
Yeah, I would send them to you. Yeah. I would be like, I want you to see a little encouragement. I'm going to put this out to the grand scale. I'm writing these up in my apartment that's dark. I'm kind of looking to hear a little bit of a nudge of this is fun.
Right, love this one.
Love this one. And I'd send them to you, close friends, family. And over the years, I kind of realized who were fun to send to. I would kind of didn't send as much. And I was set up with someone and we went on a date and had a fun time. And then I was in the midst of writing one of these bachelor previews and I sent it to send it to this woman. And she wrote back, "Just come over. I'm funnier than you. I'll write it for you."
Block.
Goodbye. Never spoke to her. I said, this isn't the right... I guess, listen, I had a great time. I didn't even explain it. I was like, that's it for me. I'm out. Like a dealer at the blackjack table.
Totally agree.
Just time to go.
Deal breaker. Thanks again to Angry Orchard for sponsoring today's episode. Angry Orchard is made with real fruit, tastes amazing, and doesn't skimp on flavor. There's an Angry Orchard option for pretty much any type of hang. From semi-sweet to fruit-forward to high ABV, they've got a little something for everyone. And you can find Angry Orchard near you by visiting angryorchard.com/locations. Enter your city, state, or zip code. Select the product you want to find. Voila! That's angryorchard.com/locations. Angry Orchard Cider Company, LLC, angryorchard.com. Please drink responsibly. Angry Orchard is a hard cider with other natural flavors. Well, Jared, we did it.
We solved dating again. Good luck to everyone. If you're out there and in Raleigh or Austin, I'm around. I'm doing shows. And also Tarrytown. Tickets go on sale. We're out there.
Gone before you know it.
Betches and Jared free production.
We did
Back next week. Boom.
Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Edited by Belle Roman. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. VP of podcast is Chris Allen. And be sure to follow U Up at u.up.podcast.